Hi there, in this quick training video, we're going to show you how to access the JHA Inspection Form in EasyMax.
First what we're going to do is tap on EasyMax Mobile. Here we have some sample work orders. I'm going to pick one of these as if it was a regular corrective maintenance work order. Now the only difference here is when you scroll down, there'll be a Start Inspection section here that normally isn't available prior to April of 2019. So to do it, you simply tap on Start Inspection and then you answer the questions. So the first question, of course, is there a potential hazard? And so you would tap on this and you can either say no or yes. If you say no, then you can complete this inspection form and move on with the work order. However, if there is one or potential one, you would say yes. Now that we've chosen yes as a potential hazard, let's identify what type. We have obviously many categories here, such as physical, electrical, shutdown, environmental, etc. In this example, let's pick a physical and say elevated work. So now that we've determined there is a hazard, perhaps we need to stop the work and consult with our supervisor. Not all situations will need this, of course, but we'll just imagine in this one we do. So we're going to go back, and from the work order, we're going to go down to communication log. And communication log allows us to email out to anybody that we know the email address of, such as our supervisor, by simply tapping on the plus button. What's nice about this is it keeps the record of the communication in the work order, so you don't have to go find it later in your email. So I'm going to write this to myself. Normally you would write this to somebody more relevant than me. And you could use the speak to text button, which is that microphone next to the space bar. I'm not going to use it, otherwise it'll mess up this training video, so let's try this out manually. And we're going to say, there's a hazard identified for this job. It's high up, and I think we need a better solution than a ladder. Do you approve of scaffolding? And while we're at it, we say scaffolding and fall protection. And so we would push the send button, and that person would receive the message, and then they, in part, could go into the communication log of this work order and they could write their response. And then based on their feedback, we can determine whether or not we can then begin work. Now let's move back to identifying the types of mitigations in the inspection form. And this is mandatory if the work is going to continue. So under engineering control, perhaps this one here, maybe we're going to get some scaffolding. And perhaps under PPE, we're going to have fall protection. And then we can put further information here in the mitigation notes section. And here you can describe the hazard and or other relevant details, such as qualifications, methods to eliminate or reduce the hazard, and we can also describe the photos that we might attach. So in here we're going to say, discussed with supervisor and brought in scaffolding, as well as fall protection. Okay, now that we've filled out both a type of hazard and mentioned some types of mitigations to reduce or eliminate this hazard, we are now able to just go to the very top and click on the green checkbox, which means we've completed this inspection. And now the result is complete. We can go back into the work order, and here it might be a good time to take a photo of the type of scaffolding that we put up or the fall protection we were using, and or the hazard itself, just to give perspective. So that is an example of an existing work order with an inspection form. Now what we're going to do is just go to a brand new work order. So let's just create one right off the bat. Work order tracking, add new, and we'll call this test 1, 2, 3. Now that we've created the work order, we can go to this section here, it says Inspection Form, and tap on the blue chevron, and we'll choose JHA for Job Hazard Analysis. And now go down to under Actions and start the inspection. Once again, we see the familiar Job Hazard Analysis inspection form.